the choice between two transfers that we have in the Teetanium system, which we call coping, one for open tray and one for closed tray. Two different ways to take the impressions with the open tray transfers and the closed tray transfers. With this model that we have here, we are going to place the closed tray coping and an open tray coping. They will be placed directly to the implant connection, and the next step will be the impression. After choosing the tray for the impression, a hole should be opened right where we have the open tray transfers. This hole will help later on to remove the screw that is holding the open tray transfer after taking the impression. Here, you will see the difference between the behavior of the closed tray transfer, which will be held inside the impression, and the open tray transfer that will be showing out of the hole that we created previously. Removing the open tray transfer will be held by the impression material, and the closed tray transfer will be kept in the implant connection. Removing it later on to be connected to the analog and placed again in the tray of the impression. It is totally different when it comes to the open tray coping, where placing the analog will be directly to the impression and then screwed in its place. In some conditions, if the screwed abutments are in use, we will be placing a special coping to be able to make the impression. For the straight screwed abutment, the transfer is different from the angled screw abutment. Here, the Teetanium system has an open tray coping that we will use to have the impression over the straight screwed abutment with the reference T009. For the angled coping, the reference is T045, and it is the same one for both angulations, 15 and 25 angulations. How to use these copings, which look a lot alike, but from inside the connection is different. After the coping is placed over the abutments, the impression will be taken, and the transfer of the tray will include the abutment that should be sent to the lab. So in this case, once the impression is done, the coping and the screwed abutment are removed, placed and screwed to the analog. The coping will be screwed again to the abutment, placed inside the impression, and sent to the lab.